Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I got first place in a Speed Duel Giant card, and I'm going to go ahead and hop right into the deck profile. Okay, so the skill card is Aster Phoenix, and what it does, it's called Looking into the Future. What it actually does is during your main phase, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and return them in any order. You can now activate spell cards the turn you activate the skill, and flip this card over at the end of the turn. So the reason why that card is so good is every turn you're going to look at the top card of your deck and you're going to get to choose what you draw. It's going to make it to where you can always draw a monster when you need it or a trap when you need it. If you're ahead, you can grab what you need to. This card was very, very, very insane. Okay, so hopping right into the deck profile, I decided to play Capybara Control, aka Giant Rat Toolbox, and we can go ahead and hop right into that. So going ahead and moving that stuff over. The main deck, we ended up playing 30 cards. So in speed duels, you can play a minimum of 20 or a maximum of 30. So this deck's goal was to not win by life points. It was to simply win by decking the opponent out. And I did not win a single game by life points when I won this giant card, I'm fairly certain. So going ahead and hopping right into the list, starting it off, we played 3 of the giant capybaras. So this card, when it dies, it goes ahead and summons out a earth monster with 15 or less attack from the deck in attack position. So this card's really good. It's just bodies into more bodies. Speed duel is really slow, even though it says speed in the name. So this card ended up overperforming. This card was crazy. And then on to the next card, we have 3 Man-Eater Bug. So Man-Eater Bug is really good. A lot of people think that DD Warrior Lady is actually just like the best like removal monster to out other monsters. I think that's like really incorrect. I think it was correct before, back when like Cyber Angel was really big and Dragoon was really big. I think then DD Warrior Lady made sense just because you had to like not lose, and Man-Eater Bug and YuGiOh both did almost nothing against those decks. But now that those decks are gone, these are actually just insane. So I maxed out on them, as I want to see these. I want to see as many of these as possible. I would be okay if my opening hand was 3 YuGiOh, Man-Eater Bug, and my next 2 cards were Man-Eater Bug. Like, I'd be okay with that, because I'm just trading with so many monsters, and if I can trade with all of my opponent's monsters, I win, because they no longer have a way to, game me. And then the next monster I play, so I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I played 2 Exploder. So the reason why I play 2 of it is, first of all, you can summon it off Giant Rat. That's the reason, the main reason why you play it. It's very interesting. So if you don't know what it does, when it's destroyed by battle, you can destroy the monster that destroyed it, or you could like crash into a monster and then destroy it, and you'll take no battle damage if you attack another guy. So this just deals with problems. I didn't want to play 3 of this because I didn't want to have like too many monster destructions. Like there's more after this too, and I wanted to have 1 always in deck for Giant Rat, and I you want to have 1 in deck for like the second Giant Rat too. So I felt like 2 of this was really good. It was kind of just like an awkward engine requirement ish. Then 2 DD Warrior Lady, 2 of this just because I didn't want to play. I wanted to have Book of Moon in my side deck. Now the speed duel ban list it works really weird. So this card's at 3, so you can only play 3 cards at 3. So I played 2 DD Warrior Lady and a Book of Moon in the side. I really wanted to have that Book of Moon there to help against bad matchups. But then also this is just more removal. People really like this because it can go on the offense. In this deck, there's no such thing as offense, so it doesn't really work for that. And then I think even like in other decks, like having this for offense is like almost better than this. Then on to the next monster. I played 2 Zombina, engine requirement at 2. Possibly would bump it up to 3. I thought about it. I don't own 3 of this card, but what this card says is, I'll go ahead and read over its exact text. It says, if this card and its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target 1 level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard except for a copy of Zombina and special summon it. So this can go ahead and summon back YuGiOh, Exploder, giant rat. These are just some of the good targets for it. And then you can also summon this off of rat. So this card, very, very, very good. Bad thing about this card is, I don't know if it was just like this weekend or something, but this card just is a magnet towards DD Warrior Lady, and no matter how hard I try to play around DD Warrior Lady, the turn will come where I'll eventually set this, and then that happens to be the turn my opponent draws DD Warrior Lady to banish it. So maybe that was just a coincidence that happened a lot. I didn't actually test for this event. I haven't played speed duels with the new ban list or anything. So maybe that's something that can end up being changed. Also, I don't think this deck is like that good. I think there's actually other better decks. I just don't think people were prepared for what this deck was trying to do. And if people are prepared for it, this deck's unplayable. One Goki Pawn. This card says, if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add an insect with 15 or less attack from the deck. So, first of all, you can summon this off of your giant Capybara. And then you can summon it off of Zombina from the graveyard. It also searches Maneater Bug, which, again, is an insane card. Very, very good card. But then also it searches the last monster in your deck, which is one Golden Ladybug. This card says, during your standby phase, you can reveal this card in your hand, gain 500 life points. So once per turn during your turn, you will gain 500 life points. That's a pretty big difference. It really helps out. This card also helps, like, kind of like deal with Nightmare Wheel. Because if you're getting burned for 500 every turn, but you're also gaining 500 every turn, then the card's not actually doing anything. I was playing more of this, like Friday and Saturday, but I realized this card's actually really bad, because even if it takes like 8 turns for your opponent to push through, you gain 4,000 life points. Once your opponent starts pushing through your cards and has like a positive advantage on you, this card's value instantly will go away. So I think this card is just good as a one-of. It's kind of like if you play Mystic Mine and you have Mystic Mine up, Judgment. It's kind of like the third piece where you kind of like want like a skull or like a field barrier or something. So it's kind of like the next piece of the puzzle to make it like really hard for the opponent to push back. Because even if you do get hit with like a really perfect combination of cards like Dust Tornado, Breaker, Knock Maneater Bug, Pop a Set Monster, then you'll probably have enough life points to live, and you should be able to have follow-up, because you're only going for this if you're already super far ahead. And then that's it for the monsters. I believe there's 17 of them. I upped the number of monsters a lot because monsters deal with monsters better than traps deal with monsters. And then I play 3 Wall Disruption. This card says, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, all attack position monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack for each monster they control. So you can activate this when they have 2 monsters, and all their monsters will permanently lose 16. So you can kind of use this, and then you'll like make their board like unusable, so that way they can't beat over things. And besides DD Warrior Lady, that can still banish. And then they will just pass, and they won't be able to do anything with those monsters. 3 Floodgate Trap Hole. So I set their monster, and they can't do anything with those monsters. On to the next card, 2 Nightmare Wheel. Activate it. They can't attack, they can't change battle position. They're going to get burned by this. People are really afraid of the burn damage of this, by the way. The burn damage actually doesn't matter. That was another reason. People weren't prepared for this deck. They thought that the burn damage mattered, when they could have dropped down to very little life points, and as long as they don't get in a 500 range where they can lose to this some other turn, then it doesn't matter. So I think people focused on outing this card just a little bit too quick. And then 1 Zoma. This card's at 2, and Zoma's at 1, so that's why I played these. Probably no matter what deck I end up playing, these will be in it, unless if I play a deck where like you just simply can't, like XYZ. And then on to the more traps. We have 2 Adhesion Trap Hole. This card says, when your opponent summons a monster, monsters half the attack of it forever. So it's kind of like just a much worse version of this card. I only had 1 of it in the deck, and then I ended up putting another one in. I didn't have any better traps. This card's bad. There's so many better cards that you could play over this, like Widespread Ruin. That's just a very quick example. That would have been 10 times better than this card. This card was dog water. Take it out of the deck. Should have just played 28 cards. I just really wanted to play 30 to like guarantee I couldn't get decked out, and I would always be able to deck my opponents out. And then I played one Haunted Shrine. I put this in today. This card says when you activate it, you can target one zombie in the graveyard, special summon it. You have to have no monsters to activate it. You only play one zombie and it's Zombina. But you can also get to it with like Giant Rex. And then or Giant Rat. The giant is the biggest cap is Capybara. And then so you can bring it out, and then when this dies, it's gonna bring out another body that's gonna deal with something. And you can also banish this from graveyard to summon out a zombie while you have no monsters, and that's gonna summon back and deal with another thing. So in theory, this card is really good whenever you're able to like get it in combined with this. But in actual gameplay, this card's probably just unplayable in this deck. I think we play too many cards, so it's hard to like get to your engine quick enough. And then opponents will always DD Warrior Lady this and banish it, and because of that, this card just instantly like loses so much value. So I don't think this card's worth playing in this build at least. I think if we play more Zombina, less cards in our deck, and we switch up the deck, then I think Haunted Shrine would definitely warrant a spot. Because the one time that this actually worked very well, it worked too well. And it was able to block so many attacks and deal with so many things. And also if they like Dust Tornado or Break or Pop it, it just has a graveyard effect that they're always going to be scared of. And then one Jar of Avarice, again, wanted to 100% guarantee I can always deck out my opponent, as that is the win condition of this deck. There are some skill cards that make you put cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck. I wanted to make sure, I got the Jar of Avarice, I'm going to be ahead. And then also, again, like if you're ahead, how sometimes you'll grab like a Golden Ladybug, or like, these are like your ahead cards, right? You'll try to grab one of these, and if you're ahead, you can grab Jar and activate Jar, and you can put back your giant Capybaras, so that way you have more of a grind, or maybe like an Exploder Dragon if you need one to summon. Also, being able to put back, honestly, like the Nightmare Wheel, the Floodgate, and like the walls, putting back stuff like that. People have a hard time dealing with those cards just multiple times over and over. My theory was that people will probably have like 13 monsters in their deck. If I can deal with all 13 of their monsters, I win. And then, so that's it for the main deck. Played 30 cards. Alright, let's hop right into the extract. So we got some tokens. Shout out to the Studs group chat. I appreciate all of you guys. Great people. I got one Ray. Shout out to the Striker God. I appreciate you for your blessing. And then hashtag free Andres Torres. I play this token because I like how it looks. And then moving on to the extract. Most of this doesn't matter. These three are complete blanks. You don't have to play them. They literally don't do anything. And then 1000 Eyes, one Ojama King, and one Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So I play Awakening of the Dragon in the side deck. I only play one of it. I only have one of it. So I figured like, okay, well I'll just play like one of each of these. Like it's not like more are gonna come up. And then these are just like some of the best targets that you can summon. This is just a big body. If your opponent pops your back row and they have no monsters, you can summon this and try to like lock them. And then also 1000 Eyes. I think that these two really you don't summon just because your deck can't bait Book of Moon good enough. So a lot of the times the opponent will have Book of Moon. So if you summon either of these, they're just going to become useless. So you just summon this a lot of the time. So that way, and you just summon it in defense, you never attack. And even if you get booked on it, and it has such big defense that they want to DD Warrior Lady into it, they're going to have to take so much damage. And then on to the side deck. So I played two more Golden Ladybug. This was for slow matchups. R of Time was coming. You can go ahead and just put this in and gain life points. And it's really good versus like the super slow decks. Or I went into time or almost into time a lot just because I was never ending the game. The game ended whenever my opponents decided to scoop when they realized that they were going to deck out. And then one Book of Moon, the third one of. This is just for, whack stuff, XYZ, Jinzo. It's just so good versus so many different decks. I didn't want to main deck it though. It's kind of awkward how the deck works, but like post side deck you want to have more outs to stuff. So I had that, and then I had another Adhesion. Again, I don't own a lot of cards. I really only had the Moth deck before, so I kind of had to do with what I had. So third one of that, the card's really bad, but it like somewhat helps deal with some side deck cards. And then one Awakening of the Dragon. I only own one of it. Otherwise, I probably would have played multiple of this card. People don't respect this card at all because it's not popular, and because of that, you can use it. Also, you don't have to summon from extra. You can just summon out your Capybara from main deck. And then last card, one straight flush. I don't know why this was here. I guess it was just for like burn decks. Like again, like most of my side deck did not matter. I thought about putting in a Mind Crush over this, but I didn't think I was gonna play against anything that Mind Crush should be needed. A lot of people that play Mind Crush right now, it's just for Golden Ladybug. But I want my opponents to think that their life points matter, because I'm just never doing any life points to them. So it's fine. And then that is it for the deck profile. That was the deck I used to end up winning me a giant Harpy's sister card. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the screen. Also, if I roll 7 or 11 right here, I'm the best player NA. And then shout out to my Donkey Kong deck box for holding all my speed duel cards. He's the GOAT. And also shout out to my team, JNC Collectibles. I know this is backwards. Shout out to them. Also shout out to their sponsor, Dragon Inc., best sponsor NA. And you can go ahead and check out my Patreon down below for regular Yu-Gi-Oh content. Peace!